Hey everybody. Oh, welcome. It might be morning there or night wherever you are, but excited to see you. Uh, so first off, some of you know me, some of you know Layla, some of you might know each other and didn't know you were both going to be here. That's cool too. Um, my name is Aaron Mandelbaum. I started this website in 2020 and this project then. And it came about because a lot of friends during the start of COVID were either losing their jobs or thinking maybe this is a sign to take my passion project into my revenue project, and had a lot of questions for me about marketing basics. And so we did a live 4-week course, and they said it was really good and they wanted their friend to do it, so I recorded everything and made it happen that way. And I left it running for a while. Had about 1,200 people join, and after that, um, I moved on to some other things after a while. And Layla and I met in Rome a couple of years ago and started doing a bunch of projects together. That was probably 2023, and we decided to revamp this and start from scratch. So we recreated the whole course in the last year and started redesigning all of what's available here. So that's been our last year of re-recording this. We added all sorts of cool new information and content, including rituals and homework and handouts and things like that. And I'll say real quick that my background and why, pay attention to who I am, um, is I I have a bachelor's degree in philosophy and a master's in business strategy. And I worked in marketing for many years, including e-commerce, SEO, email marketing, um, uh, conversion optimization, all sorts of different elements of that, and speaking and working with that. So I've been doing things like small businesses, startups, people who are barely a business yet, and some other people who are larger businesses, Fortune 50 companies, PepsiCo, Hearst, things like that. And what's great is that a lot of the basics work for everybody. So that's been really fun. And what's been real important in that whole journey has been that um, if I distilled all of what's worked in marketing, no matter what business type or who it's for, who the audience is, what I've noticed really works is authenticity, and really being with people in, this is who I am, this is what's up, this is what I'm all about. And people are saying yes to you less than the offering that you've got, things like that. So that's been some of the intention that we want to communicate, how to stay true to yourself. So many people are trying to convince people, and then I avoided I avoided studying marketing in school because it felt like trying to convince somebody or sell somebody on something they didn't need. And that never interested me. I was never into that. I always felt dirty in this idea of try to convince somebody to buy something they don't need. More of my interest has been like, this person is interested in animals and I work with animals. How do we connect them? So that's how I've approached marketing and connecting people. So that's been my background. Yeah. Welcome everybody who just joined. A couple of people just came in. We're just doing some quick introductions. I was, spewing on about myself and how this course came to be. And this is recorded, so you'll get a chance to see some of the replay. I'm going to give Layla a chance to introduce herself, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about what this course is, and we would love to hear from you. It's a Q&A session. So I'll let Layla do an introduction and we can jump in. In the meantime, if you have questions, feel free to throw them into the chat and we'll connect.
Yeah. Thank you, Erin. I think I will also start from how we met, and time really flies. It took us a while, I would say almost 2 years to make this course. And along the way, there was lots of listening. We did a whole bunch of live calls with other experts, for example, with one with money and all that. So it has been quite a journey all the way to where we are. And that's also what really made us click in the beginning. And speaking of myself, I'm also 1 foot in the business world and 1 foot in the spiritual world. And I have to be very honest, for the first 8 years of my marketing career, I was literally working for all kinds of companies without much considering, oh, this is actually where I'm putting in my life force, my time, and my energy. Where is this going? I never really doubted myself that question until a few years ago. And yeah, suddenly I could no longer pretend. I could no longer just be running the money and the profit without asking this fundamental question. And if it's not linked to my heart, if I don't feel like I genuinely want to support the project, and I would not want to say yes anymore. And that was a very, very good timing when Aaron invited me to join this project. It's like, oh, wow, here it is, and a beautiful gift. Yeah, so I would say besides that, and I had about also 10 to 15 years of professional marketing experience, mainly in the US and Europe. In the last few years, like working with more smaller projects, but before bigger companies. And I also consider myself a conscious creator as well. I think that's what many of you know me of. And I have my own project, my own business, my own ways of guiding people through journeys, through plant medicines and tantric bodywork and all of those things. So in a way, I always see myself as a bridge, if we can be a good person, but why can we also be a good business person? What really makes a difference in between? And let's find out. So yeah, it has been so, so, so exciting, and really coming from my heart as well. Just want to support all of us who carry the medicines, especially in the time that we live now. Feel like it gets more and more urgent, and I just want all of us as much as we can to make ourselves sing, to bring the medicines to the right people, and to make a better world together. So yeah, that's this passion project that Aaron was talking about, and here we are.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It was for me a lot of, and we talk about this in the course, like why do something instead of nothing. And there's so many ideas out there. There's so many great processes and projects and things that exist. And to create something new and to add something else into the mix, it really started with the question of like, yes, we can, but should we? And this came out of like a lot of requests for this type of content. So it was a clear yes, we should. People are getting value from this, so let's make it available and let's keep doing it. Um, some of it, selfishly, is to have people, you know, be doing some quality marketing out there, because I've seen so much that is flooding my feed and things like that and my inbox with things that just feels awkward and rough. And it's like they might have a great product, and how do we help them get it out and get it seen? Um, so that's a lot of the intention there. You know.
And if I could say, like add something from my own experience, a big part of this juice and the creation of this course is really coming from our direct experiences running our own businesses. And for me, so many times I was confronted, oh, I'm not perfect. And how am I still able to make it work? And then to really to be able to surrender to the place that every bit matters, that we're sitting here not to make the perfect plan, but we're here to learn as much as we can every step of the way. And yeah, we go. So I just really really want to share that with you. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, like we said, this is Q&A. This is your time. We'd love to hear any questions that you have specifically, and I'm happy to talk more about the course at any point. And if those overlap, that's awesome. Um,
So we got one question already. Yeah. So, what are the most common mistakes you see conscious creators make online? What a
hmm.
good question. Um,
For me, one of the things that we talk about this in the course is, I think the phrase I use is uh, people selling their vulnerability. And there's this trend of a 95 paragraph Facebook post that is talking about like when I was a kid, like here's my trauma and here's my shadow and here's all my stuff that I was going through. And that's why you should sign up for my massage, sessions. And there's this trend of showing the fires that we've gone through, and that's why you should buy my new cookbook, or and it's almost like this sympathy click, you know or look how amazing I am because I overcame this. And that's important, and that's great, and that might add to who you are and how you're doing this. And it's there's other ways for that to come out, and it's turned into this trend of like, how can I trump or one up someone else in how hot the fire burned that I crawled through on my hands and knees to get to the place to be able to sell you my course on how to sun yourself, and that's going to bring you a ton of money. um, so that's one thing that I see a lot. The other is connected to that, and it's just, if I post enough, I will sell. I will find customers if I just post 15 times a day. Um, I can say, like, I've worked with clients back in the day, like, who had the resources to do this, where they would post every 15 minutes, 24/7. And that helped get them a lot of new people following them. But they had, like, this is somebody like Time Magazine, where they had a lot of content. They had decades and decades of content to pull from, and they could do that. Um, and it was more of a branding conversation where it was like, check out who we are and learn about who we are. And it was a very soft sell. um, but they had a multi-million-dollar machine behind them to make that happen, and we don't all have that. So the realm of organic social search doesn't exist anymore, where like, if I post enough, they'll show up. It's takes some refinement. It takes some more focus on who am I talking to, why, what is the clear call to action, am I tracking what I'm saying, am I um, talking to them about something that's going to actually, are they clear what they're signing up for and why, and have I taken a moment to step back and say, who is an ideal client to be reaching out to? That discernment is a huge, huge help. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And if I could just add one thing, is that I really resonate to most of, well, I would say everything that Aaron has said. And there's, I feel there's often like over focus on using the word conscious. Almost like, oh, if I start calling myself a conscious creator, I have to behave in certain ways. I have to post in certain posts, to dress in certain things, to use a few gong, and all of those kind of things really start to taking over social media. And I'm really getting tired of saying that myself. And like, to translate that into the business language is that yeah, there's a lot of content, there's a lot of beauty, there's a lot of makeup on social media, and many of those things possibly don't convert to like what truly matters. So like a lot of efforts, and then somehow there's something missing that doesn't land into what your customers or consumers truly want. That is more on the human level of one-to-one, the meeting point, instead of, yeah, things trying to be pretty and all the same, and spiritual and cool. I think there's often a gap I see. Yeah, of course, it's not all about social media. There's so much efforts in marketing that is behind the scene, the framework, the roots, the this and that, the content, the creativity, the team, the technology, all of those things should be taken into account as well. So
Yeah.
it's not just about a few pretty social media posts. um,
Yeah, one thing I noticed a lot is this world is getting preyed on by a lot of like large marketing techniques where um, there's people who are really providing beautiful work, and a lot of people are getting shown. This happens in every industry in lots of different levels, but even me, I'm getting links to these and ads for these things that say like sell out your retreat in 10 days for like no marketing budget, and how to get a TED talk and how to speak in front of thousands of people for tons of money for each speaking gig. And they're selling their model and they're not actually providing that information, like, or they're selling how to repeat what it is they do, and they're actually making their money by telling you how to do something, not even what they're telling you. So it's like, they don't have to sell you on how to sell out your course or your workshop. They're selling you on signing up for their course and things like that, which sounds like, isn't that what we're doing here? And it's like, this is why this exists, because it's, here's all the information, and beyond just passing information to you, there's processes and rituals and guided flows where you can sit and actually be in the process of deciding and feeling into and discovering who your ideal client is and what it is you're trying to communicate. um, and it's not a one and done. We're actually here and want to hear what's going on. I'm going to post in the chat. There's a link to a Facebook group we have. There's about 380 people there now, and if you have questions about what it is you're trying and it isn't working, share it there. And Layla and I and all the rest of the community are sharing ideas and thoughts and things that work and don't work. So I'll share that link in the chat. Um,
And at the same time, we just got
mm,
another quite similar question.
yeah.
How can you remain authentic while making the effort involved? And what should be the efforts involved? I
Mm,
think we're talking about authenticity again now. It's really the core.
mhm. Yeah. This is it. It's in my experience, this question of remaining authentic really begins with knowing if we are authentic or not. Like, can we start with the honesty and the depth of what is the authentic expression? And once we have that, then the promoting of that is not less of a doing something and more of a being something. So is it authentic? Like, is what I'm offering authentic? Is that actually me, or am I trying to convince somebody of something? Are the people who I'm promoting to ones who will actually need this versus people who can just afford it, and that's the only criteria? um is it something that's actually worked that I've done, or something that I heard about and I'm passing it forward? Like, have I actually done this work and I can prove that's something that's coming out? um it's okay if that's not the case right now. Part of what we go through is figuring out who is that ideal customer, who is that ideal client, who actually am I, and what is it that I'm trying to say. um that's a big flow, and staying authentic. So that's the first element of like getting clear and being authentic. Staying authentic is not getting sold into get rich quick schemes. As your business grows and people want to do things like, oh, I'm gonna do ads for you, or I can manage your email, or you'll start getting marketed to all these different web tools that are amazing tools for one tactic, but we're not sure if that tactic is aligned with the strategy and aligned with the mission and vision of who we are. So staying authentic is a constant coming back to and restating, this is who I am, this is what I'm offering, this is who I'm offering it to, and does this make sense for that? There's plenty of room for testing and measuring and seeing if something works, but staying authentic is the challenge. And it can be as simple as re-asking, is this aligned? Does this fit? Is this me? Finding support in community and people and partners who will give you real feedback. That's super helpful as well. That's part of it. Um,
Yeah.
and
Like for me, like one of the ways is
mm,
really to do like a body check, and sometimes before I post something, and I would take a moment to check how is it landing in my body. For example, am I actually feeling like excited to post something, or I'm feeling the pressure because I have to post 5 times a week. I think that's already in a way indicating how authentic this flow and this content is going to be. And also like sometimes I check as well after I post to see, okay, this is who I am. Like Aaron said, this is what I offer. And if there's something sneaky extra something I'm adding here just because I want to take people to the places that is not really aligned, there's a meeting point there. So sometimes I can catch myself as like, oh, I don't have to use that word. Not right now. And yeah,
mm,
just I think those are the practical things that can help you kind of see where you are. um,
mm. Um, there's a question
there's
here
another
about
one.
the,
Hmm.
yeah, there's a question here about some of the rituals. The There's a couple different things ranging from uh, a guided flow about who am I and what am I, what do I actually have to provide. There's rituals around the why am I bringing this and what am I bringing into marketing. There's a whole process of having a shamanic dialogue with your ideal clients and how and getting a chance to learn and hear from them and what they might be telling us that we had not known about. There's a ritual around setting goals and having a vision for where you're going and what you want to do next. There's a whole conversation about money. There's a panel discussion that we had done about money that includes lots of recommendations for rituals you can do on your own. There's a ritual around creating art and using, bringing your creativity and tapping into that element. And what's great about it is we talk about it and there's a demonstration, and there are things that can be repeated all the time. So the idea is we wanted to create things that you can do on your own for yourself. This idea of designing an archetype or a persona of your ideal customer, you'd want to have like 3 or 4 of them. And so we talk about uh, how to create an artistic representation of who that person is, putting them on your altar, having a dialogue with them, calling them in all the ways, and understanding as you're creating content, are you talking to, which avatar, which persona or archetype are you talking to? Are you designing something for? And building in this ongoing communication and conversation with them. Um, I think there's room for more rituals too. And I should say right now, the course as it is the first 6 of 12 planned lessons, but there's plenty of content to get going. So there'll be more rituals coming up as we start recording the next 6. And this is also a living, breathing thing. So as we think of more things that's appropriate for any of the levels that we've done, we'll add them in and send an email out to everybody. It's like, hey, we added a new module to this course, or maybe we'll add something on the Facebook group or come up with a way to do something all together. Um, so I'm a big fan of having this work. That's why it's harder to have some of these conversations about rituals in the Fortune 50 boardroom. Talking to Pandora or Energizer or PepsiCo, having them feel into their inner aspects and doing these tantric practices. But it works. So even if I'm the only one doing it as the hired consultant for them, that's fine. Um, but as an entrepreneur and diving into creating your own business, like take the step to use all of you in the flow and process of building your business. Yeah.
And if I could say like ritual in a way, yeah, because I'm a big fan of ritual. I do a lot of rituals for my work. And in the marketing sense, it's really in the way that we want to break through this linear way of thinking to be open to a much bigger space. Why, if we can do this in the conscious space, why can't we bring this in the business space? It's the same, a space is a space. And yeah, so we're not only calling from the knowledge of the mind, but also the wisdom of the body, and even shamanically for something that you might not even know of. Who are your ideal clients? If you could think of this question right now, you possibly will be surprised what yeah, you will find out from a ritual space who are really your ideal clients there, and that might be the missing point. Why you have been putting so much efforts, but not so much has landed. So there's a way of manifesting also in the ritual space. In a way, if you really tune into the moment and give everything you have, and you're already creating and starting to create. So yeah, we would just love to open up more and more spaces like that, so you have a chance to embrace the wholeness of yeah, this work process.
Mm-hmm.
So, any other questions? Has been really great questions. Yeah, yeah, maybe some challenges. And if I could ask you, like looking back at last year, so what could be the biggest challenge that you are facing right now? With it could be even something that you want to do differently this coming year. Maybe to write down a few things, a few words, whatever comes out.
I can say,
Oh,
um,
yeah, we got something.
yeah, this is a good question. If you know what you're offering authentically and you'd like to broaden your outreach, how would you detail it? Um, is that saying like what are the details in broadening my outreach? I think that's the question. Um, and great, yeah. So this is a good question. So it's like I know what I'm offering, and I want to get more people to find it. That's really good. This is similar to what we were talking about a little bit earlier, like clearly defining that audience. And even if it's the same product, we might have different ways to message it for that different audience. There's an example in the course about there's an ad that I had found for a company that manages Facebook ads, and the exact same product. They had two different ads. One was geared towards people who run marketing agencies, and one was for entrepreneurs. And the pitch was for the same product, but totally different. For the agency, it was like manage all your clients much easier. For entrepreneurs, it was get more reach for less hassle, like save time. And the exact same product, they just had different messages. So uh, broadening the outreach is a multi-tiered thing. One I'm going to say is pick the few, is a narrowing almost of identifying who it is you want to do the outreach to, who's the ideal client, and then figuring out. And then it's more of like a depth instead of a broadening. Like let's figure out the key archetypes of who we want to talk to, and we can strengthen and broaden and go deeper with communicating to them with the focus and of where they spend time, what's of interest to them, what's of importance to them, what would have them say yes. And that might be different for each of those different people. One person might be spending more time on Instagram, one person might be spending more time on TikTok. So broadening the reach might mean going deeper in one channel versus another, hyper focus to a certain type of person. We want to make sure that there's a bunch of that type of person out there. It's not just people who live in my zip code on my block named Jeff who are left-handed Capricorns. That's might be too niche. It might just be, and we don't want to go too broad by, somebody who's starting a business in the next 10 years who has eyes. That's going to be too broad. So we can pick 4 or 5 people that we want to reach out to and see if we can go deeper into the specific channel that makes sense. So broad is more of like a spray and pray, like just send it everywhere with a fire hose and hope that it hits somebody. But broadening with focus is more like a depth. Like, I know this person, this is where they are. How can we talk to them with more depth? That's some more of that's one of the questions. Hope that helps.
Yeah, I feel like there's so much in the knowing if it's something that is already working or not. And often we don't know that. And how do you know that? So I really recommend to do a lot of testing, A/B testings and different things. As soon as you start sensing, oh, this is something that works and you want to scale up, you want to do whatever you can to amplify that. One of the best ways I love the most is to do some ads. I know, like, when it comes to money, there's could be some sense of discomfort, but yeah. So, like, marketing budget, that's actually a very important part of the strategy, and that we sometimes have to spend before that we can really scale up things. And I'm not a big fan of platforms like Google and Facebook, but unfortunately, they are taking over a lot of space. So we're still kind of relying on them. But you can still find a very smart and relatively ethical ways of working with them, and sometimes for a small budget, if you put it on the things that works, and if you know your audience, you know who you're talking to and where they are, and you can get a lot of results. And there can be also the whole idea of the funnel, like you start bringing some awareness, and how can you make them to start engaging until they make the first choice, and then they might want to talk about it and they recommend it to other people, they start coming back. There can be a whole funnel, a whole like a road to talk to them. And it's so to be able to capture as much as those touch points as you can and go deeper also and wider.
Yeah. With your follow-up here, and then we'll get to the question about the nervous system. The follow-up here that the ideal client has done some of the work, understands and resonates with the depth, and the code is, I understand so much and I don't feel it. It's like, let's, in this process of talking about our ideal customers and clients, and what are their concerns, what are the reasons they say no, what are they feeling? And there might be stages of that person. They're interested, but they're not ready. They've done some and they want to go deeper, but they're nervous. They're ready to go deeper, but they're still stuck in some different place because of money, time, or concern that it won't pay off, or what is their concern, and having some conversation and some way to talk with them in that moment based on where they are. And the way this ties into the other question, why I wanted to address that first, is the other question is, marketing feels like a hustle and value just regulating to my nervous system. Would this course help me find some balance? And I feel like the people we're speaking to might be in a dysregulated status too. So many people are getting slammed with messages left and right about buy this, do this, this is going to save you, this is going to be the perfect thing. And what actually has somebody say yes, in my experience, is not being pressured, but where their system is relaxed enough to say yes in a way that feels like it's an extension of who they are and that they're being seen. So I can tell you that, like, me personally, I'm not a hard salesperson. I hate sales. I shouldn't be doing sales. I'm a Taurus projector. I should be on the couch with some food, making people's ideas even better. Like, that's who I am. I'm a consultant. I'm like, yeah, you should try this. I'm a challenger. Like, have you thought of that? I'm not someone who's like, do it, go. Like, if money wasn't an issue, what would you do? Like, let's find a way. Like, because I've had that nervous system dysregulation. And what's worked for me and the best clients that I've ever had for one-on-one stuff, the times when I feel most free, the times when I've gotten a client and we're working together well and we're both, it's a mutually beneficial situation, is when my nervous system is regulated. Because if I sold the hell out of somebody and got them to say yes, and like even that language feels weird, like I got them to say yes, like every single day with them is going to be awful and it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be good. Um, so our flow in this course is really about like, who am I? What have I got to do? What am I bringing out? So that you're staying authentic and grounded and regulated. And then be honest about who it is we're talking to so that we're not trying to convince somebody. We're finding someone for whom they're a yes, they just haven't met you yet. And then it's about like, we know that this is a left brain, right brain, masculine, feminine process. Like there are numbers and budgets, and there is testing and measuring and optimization. And then there's art and design and creativity and flow and like feeling. And we want to marry both those sides of who we are. Because what doesn't work is saying like, okay, now learn everything about accounting and do this P&L and figure out like your net promoter score and do all this statistics. Like so much of marketing on the formal level is statistics and analytics and dashboards and things like that. And it can be a moment where we step away from like doing and step into more feeling and being and attracting and letting people say yes to us because they see us in our joy and in our passion. And a regulated nervous system is not just relaxed, it's that we're in touch with ourselves. And when we're in that place, people are going to want to see that for us too. So it doesn't mean you have to, there's 200 million photos of people standing in front of a waterfall like this saying, sign up for my course. And we've seen all of those so many times. And I can photo direct that photo shoot for you. But can I actually communicate the feeling that you're regulated and happy and want to be doing this? That's authentic marketing. And honestly, I'm not even sure if we've done that. That is great for us. We're working on it. We're developing it. We've posted our photos. We want to have you feel us. And we want to optimize and update things so that we're getting in, people are actually feeling themselves. I hope that helps. And it's
Yeah.
it's really the full thing, the authenticity. I don't want you to be doing something that's dysregulating your nervous system. I want your offering to the world to be something that you can't not do. That's like really your passion that you're bringing to the world. That's going to help sell it. There's too many people trying to be influencers, trying to be all these different things because they're doing all the steps, but they're not being it. They're not feeling it. The ones who end up making $1 million a year blogging are the ones who are doing it because they can't not.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, like authenticity, it's a lifetime process. So yeah, and in a way, it's also about your excitement that you want to tell your story because of how beautiful, unique you are, and when you tell the stories, that's already marketing. Marketing is storytelling, and marketing is also relationship building. And you want to connect with your friends, with your loved ones, and why can't you connect like genuinely with your consumers, seeing each one of them is just a being. I think there's also some perception change, and our intention is really to invite you to show up to this course or to show up in business and marketing with open heart, with more joy, and yeah, just more passion to really want to share about your true self. And I don't want to only do the spiritual talking and not to really consider the skills, the strategies, the frameworks. You can't really do that without having some sort of a holding piece for yourself. So that's what we're also offering, that's what we're very good with. Yeah, with decades of our experiences, and we will show you the tools, the templates which are already ready to be used, and the whole sequence of making like a marketing plan that actually is actionable. You can use it right away if you follow each chapter. So yeah, there will be enough support there as well, both, and at the same time. I think we have one more question, right, Erin? I
Mhm.
saw something popped up. Oh, two more.
Yeah, there's this question about the one-on-one aspects of the course and the live support. Um, at the we track everyone's progress as you go through. You can mark each lesson complete that you've done it, but you have lifetime access, so you can go back and check things and do things as much as you want. But at the end of the course, once it's completed, you get an automated email with a link to sign up for a 30-minute call with either Layla or myself, and you just jump right on our calendar. We can talk through whatever you got going on. Plus the marketing group, the group that we have on Facebook, we're checking all the questions that people have there, and we're happy to answer things. And there might be other people. We don't have every single answer. There might be somebody else there who's offering support, so that's available. Plus, at the bottom of each module, and there's 6 courses with each one has its own module, so that it's easy to swallow chunks. There's section for comments, so you can leave comments there, and we can answer questions and things like that. And so we're very available. And honestly, if it turns into something where it's like, okay, I only have like 300 questions, and can you hold my hand with all these things? We might be available for that, but that might dip into something where one of us wants to do like an ongoing coaching, engagement with you. For this course as it is, it's under $100, and right now there's a 26% off coupon for New Year's. By the way, I don't think we mentioned that. New Year, the coupon code is New Year 26 in one word. So we really want this to be this is not even a get rich slow scheme for us. This is really getting this information out there. So we feel right now for that level of what this is, I think we're being quite open with the amount of time that we have, and we're open for more. If you feel like it's not enough or it's not valuable, or like you would want more, let's have the conversation one-on-one. But we want you to be able to feel that we're available.
Yeah.
What are your views about video reels and stories talking about your offering? I personally feel uncomfortable until I get down to it, because I wonder, with so many people in our face selling something, as I said, people under waterfalls promising paradise, how do I differ from this when I'm using these strategies? Cool. Yeah. One thing I'll say, this might sound disconnected, but it is connected. There's a difference between marketing and sales. Sales and marketing can live in this overlap, in this Venn diagram. Marketing is, how do we get our product to I think I talk about this early on in the course, but the analogy that I love is, picture like a medieval castle, and on the weekend it's like a flea market vibe. People bring the vegetables they grew, the baskets that they've woven, the clothing they've made, the tools that they made, and there's people who are trading and bringing their things at the market for sale or for trade, whatever it is. So marketing is bringing your offering to the market, and the market is the full realm of anyone available to be a customer. So how do we make sure it's something that exists? How do we have people know that it exists? How do we make it easy for them to get it when they're a yes? So part of marketing is branding. Branding is when you're driving down the highway and you see a billboard for Coca-Cola, and you don't like Coca-Cola, you're not thirsty, you don't know where to get one if you want one, but they're just slamming into your head, Coca-Cola exists, don't forget, look, a polar bear, right? Like, that's the aim, and that's the game, and that's just a subset of marketing, of making it available. So feeling uncomfortable about trying to convince somebody to buy your thing through a story or something like that is might feel icky, it might feel weird, and it might feel different, and it's not required. It might be that what helps sell the course is the program or workshop or your coaching or whatever it is the experience that someone has after participating. So if it's a product, look how happy they are wearing this hat. And by the way, the hat doesn't only work for their tantric bodywork course or their ecstatic dance. They could wear their hat at a wedding or a formal event. Wow, it works everywhere. If it's a retreat, right? It's the living testimonial. Like maybe your story that you talk about is, I've been offering this retreat for however many years. We've worked on it with this many people of all different walks of life. And the number one thing I hear from them is they feel X, Y, and Z afterwards. Freedom, spaciousness, and peace in their body after attending the retreat. That was or was not intended. And I'm so touched and grateful that people have said that to me. And that's creating X, Y, and Z for me, having led this. Then that's this level of authenticity that is communicating what somebody gets out of it. It's kind of the secret with selling too. One of the examples in the course, I talk about somebody buying a drill. If they're going to the store to buy a power drill, the person could be talking about, like, this one's got great battery life, this one's got this much torque, this one's compact, this one has a great warranty. But the person at the store is not there to buy a drill. They're actually there to buy a hole in their wall. Or they're there to help, they needed something to help them assemble their new furniture or their woodworking or their art. Like, they don't need the drill, they need the end result. So it's like, they don't want to go to a retreat, maybe. They want who they are after the retreat, right? They're not buying your painting or your art. They're buying the experience of waking up every morning and seeing this beautiful painting in their living room. And that's the authentic being of having completed this financial transaction with you. And the lives and the videos and the Instagram posts are communicating that. Does that make sense? Does that feel like it's an energetic difference? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And I find that's
Thinking.
tied to the authenticity that has people say yes.
So I'm just thinking, since we only have about 7 minutes left, and there could be lots of questions, and we like to remind you there is a Facebook group. I think Erin has already sent the link in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
So feel free to come. It's not a group that we only post, the two of us. We like to make it like a community. If you have questions, if you want to share, you had a new client and this is how, and you find out something's not working anymore. It's any of the insights. Let's help each other. Let's support each other. Yeah. And just for now, okay, that's too good a question. Okay, let's jump into this one because I was thinking whether we do a little ritual or let's talk about AI. So here it is, of course, AI. So, okay, shall we do it?
Go for it.
Okay, so I'm concerned about the oversaturation of online marketing, especially with the onset of AI. Does this course speak to other avenue of marketing offline? Yeah, I can share a bit about AI because there's actually one chapter in the course that we talked a lot about AI. Yeah, starting from my own personal experience and my own general belief of AI is that it is such a delicate thing. It's so much in you, how you are using AI as your mirror, and what are you bringing into AI in the way for AI to take your power away versus using AI to support you. Then you're not losing your soul, because it's very, very easy to lose your authenticity these days when AI is so available. And in fact, I have been using a lot of AI in my work, but only really when I feel like, oh, I've got it. I've got a foundation. I just want AI to help me twist some tests. I want AI to help me brainstorm something or to put something together or to summarize. and then you can really communicate with AI in a more healthy way, especially in the space of marketing. It can really so it shouldn't be only used to help you write posts. So that's something I'm so frustrated to
Hmm.
see everywhere on social media. Everything feels like an AI writing post. If you were the customer and you would sense that you want to block it right away, right? So yeah, and
And what I heard in your question is more like, do we talk about offline marketing as well? Um,
mhm.
yeah. Because the other element with it, AI is going to keep changing a bunch of things, and it's so confusing to tell what's even real anymore. Um, so yes is the short answer. The long answer is the conversations that we have are in the course are, like we said, we talk a lot about who's your ideal customer, but also your vision, your goals, your milestones, your contingency plans, managing your budget, your resources, your team, things like that. It's a lot of things that are going to be uh, um, the beingness of marketing that will translate into online marketing, offline marketing, these guerrilla marketing, things like that. Um, your creativity is your limit in all of this. So yeah, I think there's room in the basics that we're covering for any type of marketing. We don't say like, here's how to do an event or something like that, like a lot of the logistic details of things, but it is inspiring me to go back and make sure that we do talk about things like, I talk a lot about, one of my big passions is co-opetition and working with other people so that everybody wins. Like if you're a restaurant on a street with another restaurant, you should be buying napkins together and like, let's all save money. Let's all buy salt. Let's all buy pepper. Let's buy, we can buy 10 gallons of ketchup instead of 3 ounces each. Let's buy eggs together. Let's make this work. So there's elements of that, of this offline marketing, getting referrals. We talk about affiliate programs, and we have one built into this as well at any point. But there's reminders throughout that you can sign up as an affiliate for this course, and then whenever you send a link, you get a customized, personalized link to this course. When you send it to your friends, you get 15% of their registration fee, and that's an offline thing that you can do as well. And ways that we can share this. So there's
Yeah.
room for creativity. There's
And I
room for
just
things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, just want to add one thing is that before, let's say, we decide, okay, let's use Facebook or let's go to a trade show, and we have a process in place that is called a consumer journey. And we want to actually pause that part of it. And then let's go a little bit back from the perspective of a consumer. Let's say if we have a persona and where likely is this person going. So this person, because of that kind of characters or personalities or shopping behaviors, this person actually goes to social or later on when
Mhm.
he wants to compare information and then he goes to a show and la. So we actually start from a very different and fundamental place to help you decide what are the channels and if the offline marketing is necessary for you. Because often we'll just go ahead and say, okay, I want to do this and why, right? So we want to do it differently and if it's necessary and we will dive into how as well.
Yeah, it's a great question because like, people started advertising on TV because TV became available and that's where people were. And that was a transition from radio and newspaper. And if your audience all lives in Nosara, Costa Rica, you put a flyer in front of the apothecary downtown and the supermarket because that's where they are. Um, if your community is in Colorado and do something at the ecstatic dance, bring a flyer there, of course. Like there's a way to do that. And then how is that customized for that audience? So really good
Mm-hmm.
questions. I want to respect everybody's time that we're at the top of the hour. But I can say one of the things we wanted to do in terms of a ritual, which I'll offer you to bring to yourself and in your time and whatever works, was um, a way to focus, and maybe it was more like a guided meditation, but um, there's been so much talk about um, New Year's resolutions and what's happening for the new year. And uh, I think what we wanted to bring was the conversation to a different direction of more like, what is your intention for the year? Not what you like want per se, but what is your intention and what's really moving through you? That, if we start from that place, what you want might change because it's new things might be available. So the invitation is to take some moments, either making art, meditating, um, any type of magic that you're doing. Maybe it's in your dreams. Like, what is your intention? That's not an attachment, but more of a commitment. What are the messages that's coming through? Like, what is it that you're intending for the year in terms of being? And then see what sort of doing aligns with that. And where you want to end up in 12 months from now will indicate or dictate where you need to be in 10 months and 6 months and 2 months and next week and later tonight. And we can back the timeline of doing to fit this intention of being. So that's an
And in one
invitation.
of the Yeah, and in one of the chapters, actually, we will talk about how to set up goals, and so how goals are different from intention, from a vision, from a mission, that you really break it down into something more tangible and doable, and
Mhm.
milestones as well to celebrate. Yeah, but the intention, like Aaron said, is really more coming from your heart desires, not just only from your mind and your whole well-being, like what's there for you want to bring out to this world. And then yeah, and then to translate it into marketing and business. And having said that, I think all of you have free access to the preview course. At the last chapter of the preview, there is an example of a guided ritual, since you are also asking about the questions of a ritual. So you can really watch that one and see how you can get a taste of yeah, ritual. And I think that can also help you dive a bit deeper into your intentions as well for this year. So yeah, let us know how you like it. Any questions?
Yay. Thanks for your attention, everybody. I hope this is valuable and fun and useful and answer the questions. If more questions come up, we are so findable. Uh, and we are very okay with this not being the right thing for you. That's totally okay. Um, you're welcome to keep asking. We're gonna post the replay. So if you missed the beginning, that's totally fine. It'll be available. We'll probably put a link on the Facebook group as well, so you can find it maybe on the blog page of the home page, and we'll make sure you get updated on it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You're so welcome. Such an honor, such a pleasure to be together. Keep the questions coming. And if we never hear from you again, best of luck with all that you're doing. Thank you for taking this bold step to like honoring the messages and the voices to support all the amazing people who will benefit from your magic. Thank you for making the world a beautiful place.
And wishing you all a beautiful year for more of your magic to sing, to be out to this world, and stay in touch. Bye bye.
Yay.
Thank
Ciao.
you.